Welcome to the Rescue Rundown. I'm Dave Morris here in the Oklahoman's video studio. Happy to be joined as always by Abby Wolf from the Central Oklahoma Humane Society. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are we on this blustery day?
It's cold outside. It's kind of
gray.
Yeah. But we have a big announcement, some good news for the Central Oklahoma Humane Society. We got this little guy with a runny nose. He's a dog to be named later, if you will. What do we know about this guy?
This little guy is about 8 weeks old. He's a pit bull mix, and he is headed to Minneapolis this weekend.
And that's what we're going to talk about, the relocation program that OK Humane has. But he doesn't have a name.
He doesn't. Do you want to name him?
I don't know. We were kind of bantering about here in the studio, thinking maybe to play on his little fingertips, his paws. They're white.
Adorable.
Meatball is not bad.
Oh.
I don't know. Nothing's coming to me that he looks like a Fred or something.
Naming a dog is a big responsibility, isn't it?
It's a big responsibility. Well, you mentioned that he has his passport ready, although he's not actually leaving the country, but
yes,
he's about to travel.
That's right. We actually received a really great grant from the Watershed Animal Fund that will allow us to go back into relocation. And a lot of people don't know what that is.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware.
Absolutely. So we load up a van full of dogs that, you know, otherwise in the Oklahoma City shelter might not be adopted very quickly, or might be euthanized even. And instead, we take them to areas that need dogs, and especially dogs of certain breeds. So in Oklahoma, we have tons of cattle dog mixes. Anything from the Australian Shepherd to the Australian Cattle Dog. These kinds of breeds are everywhere in Oklahoma, whereas places in Colorado or Minnesota or these kinds of places don't have those breeds and would love to find homes for them very quickly.
An example was you brought in an animal, a dog, a few weeks ago, I believe, and it had been one of your longer staying citizens at OK Humane. He went through relocation, or she, I don't remember actually. He went through relocation and then quickly found a home.
Yeah, so Quinn was our longest dog resident at like 290 something days he stayed with us. And you know, to the average Oklahoman, he was a cattle dog. He had some challenges. He was blind and deaf, but he wasn't finding a home very quickly. And we sent him to Boulder, immediately found a home. As soon as he went through a little bit of training, 2 weeks later, he found a home. And we're hoping that happens with all of these relocation trips that we're making weekly now.
Really, that often?
Yeah.
So there's that much of an inventory that you're like, okay,
absolutely.
We need to find them a solid situation to be in.
Yeah, so Oklahoma City has a pet overpopulation problem, and this is one of those ways that we're going to stop needless euthanasia in Oklahoma, is finding these animals homes as fast as we can.
All right, and once again, this guy is on the road Friday night.
That's right. He is headed to Minneapolis with a van full, a sprinter full of dogs, including some of his siblings. So hopefully he'll be finding a home rather quickly and in cold Minneapolis right now.
Oh, better get the little guy a scarf or something.
I know.
How many siblings does he have?
He has 4, I believe, 2 of which are going into relocation and 2 of which are going into our adoption program.
Okay, let's back up just a second. You mentioned off the top this grant, $329,000. This is a massive grant. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell me more about the Watershed Animal Fund.
The Watershed Animal Fund really was looking for a way to make a real impact with their money in Oklahoma. They said, how can we raise the live release rate? How can we make sure that animals going into the shelter are leaving alive? So with this awesome grant, this very generous grant, we're going to be doing 3 things. We're going to be going back into relocation, like we talked about. We're also going to be opening a bottle baby nursery that will allow us to save, when it's at its full capacity, 2,000 more animals a year.
Wow.
Yes, and in addition to that, we're going to be building a little bit more space for those animals that haven't found their fosters yet, so that we won't have to be making those decisions on whether or not to pull the animals from the shelter if we do or do not have fosters. We'll be able to kind of hold on to them until we find the right home for them to go into foster with.
Wow, great news all around. The bottle baby nursery, I'm reading this, puppies and kittens under 8 weeks of age, special care around the clock.
That's right. We see so many in the shelter of these abandoned, orphaned, homeless puppies and kittens. Oftentimes they need so much care and they're very delicate. And for people to take those on, that's a big responsibility. So we're gonna make that a little easier, and we're gonna set up a bottle baby nursery where they can have round the clock care.
Well, let's talk about how people can help, and perhaps even starting this Friday.
Yeah, so we are always looking for volunteers, and how fun is it to kind of get these guys ready to go to Minneapolis or to wherever they're going in the country on a weekly basis. So on Friday nights, we kind of set up a fun little atmosphere to get these guys loaded and ready to go, and you can always come and volunteer with us. It's a good time.
Very good. I was just interviewing some gentlemen who dropped the phrase, was it friend raising? They had a friend raising effort. Perhaps this would be a good opportunity.
We are always looking for help.
All right, very good. Abby Wolf, the Central Oklahoma Humane Society, and this little guy who we still didn't come up with a name with. Tiptoes?
I believe in you. I think you can do it.
It's not going to happen in the next 30 seconds, I'll tell you that. All right, more information, though, can be found on the website. And anything else we need to know?
No, we would just really appreciate the Watershed Animal Fund for this generous gift, and we're looking forward to making a real difference in Oklahoma City.
Very good. Abby, thanks so much as always for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
More rescue rundowns can be found online at newsok.com.